Well, hello there. Welcome back to Drinks Whisky. I've been MIA for a little while. Um, Over the festive period, unintentionally, I was quite sick. Got a lovely bug that seems to be going about. Quite a lot of people seem to be getting it at the moment. And it struck us down around about the 22nd. And since then, I've not had a dram, believe it or not, since the 22nd of December. However, I am fully recovered. I feel so much better now, finally. And I figured before I go and make some videos, which we'll talk about this evening, I would come live and have a dram Saturday night, test out a few of the bits. Got some new tech, get some new bits, so figured, well, why not? Let's go live. Let's try it out. Now we're jumping right into it because I've been itching to open this bottle that I got. I treated myself. It was in the sale. It is a bottle that is highly regarded by not just myself but a lot of people. Evening, Petehead. Welcome. Happy New Year. Can't believe it's already been and gone. That's crazy. Hope you had a great Christmas time. I'm just about to open a Christmas treat to myself, which was going to be a video that was going to come out before Christmas, but as I mentioned, I got sidetracked by being ill, so I couldn't record it. I was basically doing a video a day and trying to churn it and get them out, and that will teach me. I think I tapped out at 8. I think I get 7 or 8. If you hear some tapping, by the way, it's quite heavy rain falling. It was meant to snow, but it's not snowing here yet. And the bottle I'm going to crack on with tonight is going to be the bottle that I was going to name my Whisky of the Year. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it. And that is this. You can see it. The Kuboken 15 2023. It's not opened yet, but I got it in a bargain. Thank God I held off. I was holding off buying it. And then on, I think, Boxing Day sales, Selfridges, they had it at, let's see if it'll focus, 105 quid, which is more than it should be, and it was on sale at 50, 49.99. Swooped in, bought it. It was going to be my Whisky of the Year, which was quite weird considering I didn't own the bottle, but I've had it a lot this year, and it just stood out so much for me. So what better first dram of the new year than a fresh bottle opening and pour. Now, Happy New Year to all you guys. How was it? Let me know in the chat. What were you drinking? What did you get? Did you get any whiskey gifts? We're going to chat through that tonight. Did any disappointments? Any surprises? What did you toast in the new year with? There we go. I think that's a decent enough pour to kick us off this evening. 50% this. If you have not had this 15, let me tell you, it is an absolute treat. They did the 2022, which a couple of people I know had. I never had the 2022. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. And then I tried the 2023 this year at every whiskey show I went to, and it stuck with me at every show, no matter when I had it, at the start or the end of a show. And one of the really kind people on the tomato stand poured me a wee kind of, like, I would say almost like 150ml bottle to take away with me. And that was gone in no time, as you can imagine. So I'm delighted to have this at 50 quid. What a bargain. But aye, great to see you coming in. Thanks for joining, guys. It was last minute. I didn't know if I was going to do it or not, and I just thought, why not, as is the case. But I'm going to try and do more Saturday evenings. I think Saturday night's going to be my night to do it from about 9:45 onwards. Obviously, I've got the little one, I've got work commitments and stuff, and so the week can be a bit hectic. Other people do streams during the week. I figured I could do a Saturday night, but there'll be the odd one or two that I can't do. Obviously, I do have other commitments outside of it on a Saturday night, but for now I'm going to be here. So guys, to kick off, cheers. It's wonderful. Smoky, light, fruity, Christmassy. Bear in mind, that's my first dram back. My taste buds are a wee bit funny. it's great. It's really, really good. I also do have a can of Coke Zero here, which I know is sacrilege, but let's ease back in. Let's ease back in. Codger, New Year was quite one. Got on the outside of some Lockleaf. Very nice. I got a bottle of Locklear from my brother-in-law, who, he's one of the only ones that actually buys me any sort of whiskey. No one touches whiskey with me, even though I'm like, just buy me anything. And he got me the, I don't know if it was a fallow. It's actually behind me. Give me a second. I think it's the our barley he got me. He didn't know. He never knows what he's buying unless I explicitly tell him. He got me when he went to New York a bottle of Four Roses, single barrel. Delighted with that. But he picked me that one, and I just found it quite funny that of all the ones he could have went for, he went for a Locklear. New Year was quite here as well, Petehead. Never celebrate Christmas, so skip that. Fair enough. We very close to not doing Christmas this year because of the illness, but we managed to pull ourselves together for Christmas Day and went to my in-laws, and probably on Boxing Day we were suffering for it, but it was nice. It was a nice wee day. I hope you guys who were celebrating it had a nice little day. Craig, appreciate the warm wishes back. We can just talk about that. I went yesterday to film my Whiskey of the Year video, which was going to be me opening the Kubokin, and it was a beautiful day in London, and I had it all planned out, and it was going to be scenic, and I had to drive 30 minutes to the destination where I was going to film it, and then I got there and I couldn't get parked, and so I was like, right, I need to find this parking, and it was at the O2 Arena, and it was all elaborate what I was going to do, and the light was perfect, it was beautiful, and I then had to go around this roundabout way around that whole area, that North Greenwich area, and then I was turning right at a junction, and as I was turning right I could see the bus approaching, and it was fine, and what looked like it was a red light subsequently it was not a red light. I take my turn, and the bus must have been going, I don't know, it was going faster than it should have been going, let's put it that way, and at the last minute I realised that I was about to get side barred by this bus as I'm turning, as I'm coming across, because it's just pelted down, and I managed to accelerate and just get out of the way of it, but it caught me at the back, caught me on the left hand side, and smashed my tail light and a bit of the bumper and stuff. It was quite mental, to be honest. And the bus took quite a hit, but they're quite fiberglass. So needless to say, I didn't video yesterday. That video was going to go up today. That was going to be my first video back. I was a bit late doing the Whiskey of the Year 2024. So I nearly died to make content. So that would have been all that way to just say, aye, Kubokin 15, there you go. Stuff I do for my art. Thankfully I'm fine. The car held up really well. The damage was minimal, thank God. Yeah, lesson dramatically learned that just stay out of the way of red buses, because they just don't care. So aye, that was yesterday. That was yesterday's adventure. So it's been a very eventful few weeks, and I think that's why I decided I was just going to do a live stream, because what's the worst that could happen there? Oh, touch wood, probably jinxed it now. And hopefully no, I'm pretty secure where I am, nothing can sideswipe me in here. So that was going to be that video. I'm going to do a video about the Whiskey of the Year, because they always do seem to do well. Yeah, thanks Petehead. Me too. It was a wee bit hairy. But I will do the Whiskey of the Year one, and I was going to talk through it. I don't know the best way of doing them. It'd be great to know your guys' advice. Happy New Year, Paul. Thanks for joining. Do you enjoy the videos where it's multiple, like countdown, top 5, top 3 of the year with a final one, or do you enjoy the ones that are kind of categorised? My favourite bourbon of the year, my favourite Highland, my favourite whatever. Do let me know, because I don't really know. Oh, Codger, you're telling me the excitement of that. I could do without. could do without a bloody red bus being the end of me. But yeah, I'd love to know what those videos are, because they are saturated. Everybody does them, and I was kind of in two minds. But I loved this whiskey so much this year that I spoke about it on if you saw the Whiskey Tube Festive edition that I hosted, I did mention it and say that I was really hoping someone would get me it for Christmas, but I got myself it. We are not going to be doing any horse racing this evening, or any. I've not got the camera set up for the bar of that. I thought I'd just keep it nice and simple. I've got a little bit. I've tried to do a wee bit of background music. I don't know if you can hear it. It's a wee bit. Try to just get these things going and get them going. Paul, I looked through my cabinet and I appear to have a Thompson Brothers problem. Oh, don't we all? Don't we all? It's a nice problem to have. Have you managed to pick up any of the new releases that have came out the last few weeks? You'll have to excuse me, I'm a wee bit bunged up. Codger, at least it wasn't a bendy one. I know, but it was a double decker. So it was enough. It was enough to put the fear of God into me. And speaking to the insurance, it seems I don't have a leg to stand on, because by law they have right away if I'm turning, even though they hit me. But I'm not worried. There's cameras in the buses and stuff. If the driver was doing anything untoward, it would be captured. But the guy, like, fair play to him. Like, we both got out. He was a bit shaken. I was a bit shaken. But get on. Peathead, countdown or category is indifferent for me. Yeah, it's more just I just wondered, because I've seen a couple of people do just one whiskey, the whiskey of the year, and they talk about it. I've seen other people do category, my bourbon of the year, my best value of the year, my this, my that, and then spread them out across multiple videos. And then I've seen people do countdowns, top three. If you choose to do, yeah. I'm going to see. I don't know whether to do multiple, just one video and kind of cut it up. And I know that's a bit cheating, but sometimes the algorithm can send stuff, like the supermarket video I do every year. That's the most successful video I do every year, and it's, in my opinion, it's pretty basic and it's no taxing. But it seems to get sent out and it seems to get picked up in South America and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way of doing it. I don't want to just churn through videos for the sake of it and kind of swamp it, but at the same time I'm just trying to optimise it, because I'm on the run. I'm getting closer and closer to the first milestone for the YouTube partnership thing, which is 3,000 hours. Because the way it works, if you don't know, is it's a rolling count, 365 days rolling number. So I'd got really close before, and then obviously I didn't make content for a while. So that catches up with you and that bites you, so they kind of make you grind and keep doing stuff. The live streams are good because they count towards it as well. So if I do 2 hours on this and I get 100 views who watch it all, that's 200 hours. So it's all it's all numbers. But I'm trying, because of the ones I've done, I'm close to getting to near 3,000. I don't get any monetization at 3,000, but I can do the memberships and stuff, and then once you get to 4,000, then it starts to, you can do monetization if you want, but I don't know if I'll get there. Paul, working my way through the Glen Turret from them, lovely drop as all of theirs is. Can't be, yeah. I've not like I said, I don't know if you missed it, Paul. I've not had it. This is the first dram I've had since the 20th of December. I ended up like really ill, and for the first time like had blisters on my tongue, and I tried to have a drink of anything and it was just burning. I was out this week. I was out this week watching the football and that with my brother, so I had a few pints but no whiskey. And I've noticed it in London, I don't know if it's a Great Guinness shortage, but a few pubs had Murphy's on tap now, which I've not seen for years. Drams are one of my favourites of yours for sure. Thanks, Paul. I like making the Drams on the Runs one. That was going to be the that's why I was getting it out yesterday to try and do that video of the Kubokin out and about. I just think it's fun. I think it's more, it gives me a wee bit of excitement as well and purpose to go places. And I've still got a few lined up that I want to do that I was going to try and do over the Christmas period, but just sideswiped. Just when that happens, it happens. So I'm not beating myself up about it, but I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't get the 12 days. I was doing the 12 days and I had it all lined up, and then the sickness just killed me. Absolutely killed me. On the bourbon tonight, fancy something simple, a filibuster. Are you on a bourbon called filibuster? Is that what you're on, Codger? Or is it something else? I've got one. I actually picked up, I'll show you, picked up, on my credit card I had like a voucher, 50 quid spend at Harvey Nicks, and it happens every 6 months. And you can buy anything and they just credit you 50 quid back. And so at the start of the year, I would say around about April, they had the sale and I picked up 2 bottles of Booker's bourbon. And I think I paid £90 for the 2 or something silly. Basically worked, but with that voucher, it worked out like 20 odd quid a bottle. And so I've had that £50 and it was New Year's Eve and I didn't know what to buy. And I was going to buy the Sir Davis, the Beyonce one, because I've not had that yet. I've heard decent things, but they overprice it at Harvey Nicks, so it was like 90 quid. And I ended up picking up the Buffalo Trace kosher bourbon. Yes, it's called Filibuster. Peathead's on a Dramore Manickmore. Fantastic. Nice. I like the Dramore stuff. I'm assuming the proof's 46. They normally bottle it about 46%, don't they? Craig, 1792 single barrel foolproof. Is that the single barrel foolproof that Royal Mail Whisky did? By any chance? So do tell me, Santa, what did you get? Did you treat yourself to anything? Did anybody gift you anything whiskey related? I got, as I said, the Locklear. That was the only bottle I got. I got myself that, and then you could probably say the Buffalo Trace was another one I got myself. And then I did get a stack of whiskey books, which I have with me in here. I can actually show you now. Give me a second. It's like I've prepped for this or something. Here we go. We have got Dave Broom's World Atlas of Whisky, which I'm looking forward to just going through. Dave Broom, you know it's going to be good. And it's such a weighted home. It's the 3rd edition of it. He was at the Glasgow Whisky Festival, and I wanted to speak to him, and I totally got sideswiped. Absolutely sideswiped, and didn't do it. And then didn't pick up the book, so I asked for it for Christmas. So thankfully, my very wonderful wife obliged. Of course. Again, a must-have by this point, isn't it? The Malt Whisky Yearbook 2025. Again, I've not went through it yet. I've not had the time, but it's just always a good read. Some of them you can skip over. Like, I'm not going to read about Bladnoch. But the actual articles within it, if you don't have it, I'm assuming most of you guys watching me have this. If you don't have it, I think it's about £13-14 you get it. You can get it on Amazon, stuff like that. It's worth picking up. It's a bit of a no-brainer. I got Charles McLean's Whiskypedia. I looked at picking this up for a friend for his birthday, and I picked it up. I had never actually looked at it, and I just found it really good. I thought, for the money, it's a great book. It's obviously got his whiskey wheel in it, and that's useful in itself. I just thought, well, I'll put that on my list, and I got that as well. Evening, Jeff. Lovely to see you. I missed your stream last night for reasons that you wouldn't have heard, but if you go back to the beginning of this later on, you'll find out why. Yesterday was a bit of a weird day. You go to try and make a video and life throws mentalness at you. And then my wife got me this. She actually bought this in Dalwhinnie Distillery when we were there in the summer and hid it ever since. and I had to laugh. Any Scottish drinkers, the art of Curie. You Curie in. It's kind of, on the back it means the Scottish art of deriving comfort, well-being and energy from wild landscapes and convivial interiors. A hug of a word. I always just knew Curie as you Curie in, like a kind of cuddle in. So she got me that as well. And my father-in-law actually got me a whiskey cocktail book. Sadly, he never watched any of the videos I put out at Christmas time. That book would have been better for me before I'd made those videos, because it's actually real cocktails. So I think I might make a video with a couple of the cocktails from that book, because they sounded a lot better than mine. And then some whiskey. I don't know if you can see that. Whiskey Hotel Chocolate. Mellow milk with a slug of smoothed, honeyed 10-year-old single malt. So we've got those. And then my mum got me, I don't know where she got these, 2 Maker's Mark jumpers. So that was the extent of my whiskey presents. Catch up with the chat now after me rambling. Was the kosher wheat rye blend a straight rye? It was wheat. It's a wheat recipe, which apparently is just like Weller, so I've told. I looked at the proof. It's a higher proof than standard. I think it's like 47 something. So I'm going to try that with the Weller against the Weller 12 and see what it's like. Jeff's low. Anthony was gifted Craig Ellicky. Darkness Oloroso cast 12-year-old. Ben Romick Polish oak number cast in green spot. Oh, you did well there, Anthony. What? You need to let me know that green spot. How you find the green spot chateau? I like green spot. I like yellow spot, but I like all the spots. But I've never had. I think I've had it once or twice. That's a lie. But I've never really remembered it. Any of those special bottlings of them. Peatyhead not celebrated, but bought myself an SMWS Linkwood, and that is still in transit. That'll be great when it comes. Peatyhead. Can't go wrong with Linkwood. Let's make a mark. Yeah, I know, Jeff. The jumpers. I don't know where she got them. I think she. If I remember rightly, I think she said she got them in a charity shop in Glasgow. Can't be it. 2 jumpers. So she was like, you can put them on the bottles for when you're making videos. And I was like, well, by the time I get around next Christmas, they'll be on bottles. You would have missed, Jeff. I am drinking the Kuboken 15, which is just a fantastic dram, and I was saying that as my whiskey of the year for last year. It was my favourite. It was one that really surprised me, stood out. It's just quality, and I think it's more readily available than some of the others, which I'm happy to talk about. The other considerations I had were Springbank Local Barley last year was outstanding. An outstanding bottle, but not easy to get. Really not easy to get. So I didn't want to bring that up. The Springbank 12 cask strength. Now I've had both. They brought out 2 this year, obviously. I preferred the first release, but the second one's great as well. But I really enjoyed the first one, and I've got through quite a lot of that. Really enjoyed that. From a bourbon point of view, I've had some just unbelievable bourbons this year, because obviously Kentucky, last year, Kentucky and stuff like that, and personal favourite is the, I can never pronounce it right, the Quavito Vivo from Glens Creek that you can't get here, so I wasn't going to make a video about that. That's why I was asking earlier about should I do a list of like what's been my favourites, or should I do one that people can go and get. I opened a Stag for a charity tasting. Phenomenal bottle, absolutely outstanding. I've had quite a few Wellers, I've had Pappies, I've had all those. They're all good, but I just really liked that Kuboken this year, and I liked the fact that people could still buy it, and then the fact I was going to do that video, and then it went on sale as well, and that's when I bought a bottle of it, and I was like, even better, I can actually have a bottle of it to talk about it. But it sold out really quick, but you can still get it places. It's about 75 quid, 80 quid, and it's unreal. Anthony, same all unopened, but the Darkness one has been opened Monday at a group meeting. That would be great. Need an unofficial Springbank shirt for this year's festivals. I'm doing. I. So the ones I'd made originally were good. They were fine. I wasn't too happy with the quality of the material, but I was trying to get them at a price point where they weren't silly money. But I did do a test sample of a thicker, I would say more a textile material, a bit tougher, and I really like that. So I'm looking at sorting that out. It will mean it'll be a little bit more expensive, but I just think it's better quality. Because I was a wee bit embarrassed by the quality of them. But I was trying to keep the prices low. So I'll explain that when I update it all on the website. Do that. I'm also looking at some other kind of new merch bits and pieces. I don't. Full disclosure, I don't buy them outright. I work with a UK supplier who prints on demand. So that way it just gets made. So it's not like I'm making huge money on it either. My margins on it are next to nothing. Half the time, barely covers itself. But it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Lots of Springbank 12 cast on auction sites at the moment, not going for silly money either. Yeah, so I expected that. Especially with the release before Christmas. I just assumed people would kind of flock and pick them up. And that was part of the reason why the video I made, where it was the cocktails and stuff, or I was just using silly bottles to just make cocktails, and I used that new cast strength 12. Not as a flex, but just to be like, it's no the... People shouldn't get so caught up and chase them and spend silly money on these bottles. But it's that 12 cast strength's great, but if I could, I would pick up, and I'm sure I've got another one lying about somewhere, the first release, in my opinion, is better. But the second one, maybe more sherried, because it is more sherried, it's a darker colour. Maybe that's more up your street. Maybe you'll enjoy that more. I do know I saw somebody mention the other day, SWAs went live. You've got, I assume, I've not even looked at it yet, but I assume they'll have tons of Springbank. Whisky Auctioneer and Whisky Hammer. They're normally the three I look at when I'm trying to pick stuff up. But I think Whisky Hammer's changed the days now. Because normally it used to be most of the auctions finished on Monday night. But I think Whisky Hammer's a Saturday or a Sunday now, so I'm not too sure. That's just lovely. It's just the right weight to it. I'm going to keep going on about this Kuboken. It's just the right weight. It's not too heavy. It's not too smoky. It's not too sherry. It's just lovely. Well done. But I'm going to move on from that. I'm going to have a bourbon, I think, because you guys are all in the bourbon. So I figured, why not? Maybe I'll have a wee bourbon tonight. So in the whiskey world, I've been trying to see what's been happening from a news point of view. A hell of a lot of new distilleries in the works, and I can't quite work out why. Like, I know a lot of them have been committed, like maybe last year or whatever, but there was a post on the Aquavitae Barflies Facebook group, and I screen grabbed it because I was like, that can't be right. Aye, so it was a guy on that posted, and he said basically the first list are 13 projects that have broken ground and completion is expected 25-26. Ardgowan, Balmod, Ben Cumhill, The Boffey, Castletown Mill, Drummegar, Eden Mill, Isla Barra, Cowf, Lagan Bay, Levenbank, Portatroon, Witchburn. And then there's 10 new distillery projects announced, but dates and progress uncertain. Dalriata, Gartbreck, Glenluss, Grahamslaw, Inverary Castle, Jedburgh, Knockhill, Macrahanish, Midfield, Wolfcraig. So that's 23. I don't how is that sustainable? On top of everything that's going on, like there's retailers closing. A shop that I really enjoyed, and somebody I know well, Thomas, from Tipples in Manchester, they've had to close their doors. I think the small craft bottle shop, whatever, they are gone. So independent retailers are suffering. I know that Master and Malt are putting their prices up. because they're struggling. The Whisky Exchange, when I popped in there before Christmas and I was chatting to the guys in there, they had a really slow December up to maybe the last week, and then it started to make traction and they got some more stuff. It's just, I just don't know. There's a lot of bottles sitting in shelves, and I don't know what these new distilleries are going to bring to the table, especially in Scotch, because we're so restrictive in what we allow to happen to the liquid. So you're going to have a lot, and I know there's foreign markets and stuff like that, but then there's the taxation and the exports and the current state of play, and we don't know what's going to happen with the US, and just it's a lot of money being sunk in the ground. And then you've got, that's not even mentioning like Dornoch or anything like that are doing it. Graham's list, yeah, I forgot Lagan Bay. Jeff, I read that exactly. Yeah, that I saw that and I was just like, Jesus Christ, I need to steal that because it's just mental. Highly balls about the festival in Edinburgh. We'll have a chat. Yeah, the independent festival. It's on my list of things I would love to do, but last year, again, another video that I need to put together and pull out. I'm going to pull out my highlights for the year. I went to a lot of things last year, and my wife was very, very forgiving, and she was very generous, especially with the little one. And I can't get away with that this year. I wouldn't ask of it. I do have a couple of trips that I would love to do. One is I want to go to Ireland. I want to go to Cork and do the Middleton distillery. Finally, I would love to do that. I was meant to do the Dingo distillery. Don't know if you saw any of my videos before Christmas, but we flew out there. We went on it was more for the beer we went, but I'd reached out to the brand ambassador at Dingo because I'd asked on Blue Sky, does anybody know anyone at Dingo? And they came back and said, look, we can sort you out, no problem, we can get you a tour. I was like, I'll pay me and my mates, because there was a few of us, there's going to be 5 of us. I was like, I'm not asking for anything for free, I just want to know, is it possible, because our first tour was at midday, is it possible that we could maybe get an 11 or a half 11, because we had to get to the airport that day. And I'm like, yeah, we can sort that out. And then I woke up after a heavy night and thought I'd died, thought I was a ghost. There was no power, there was no phone signal, there was no hot water but not cold water, it was like tepid. The entire hotel was silent. Walked through it all the way through, never saw anyone. And then walked past the dining hall and just saw these people sitting, clinking forks and knives, and just turned and looked at me. Storm Dara wiped it out, the Dingo Peninsula, so we had no power, which meant no distillery. So sadly never went there. So I do want to go, I would love to go back there. I'm fortunate my uncle lives in Dingo, so I do want to go back there. But Middleton is high on my list. I would also love to go back up to Speyside in the Highlands. I'd love to go to Dornoch. That's high on my list. So I've got those in the works, but it's just, I just don't know if I can do Edinburgh, to be honest. It's a tough one. Then price of getting up there, price of staying in Edinburgh, because I wouldn't want to commute back to Glasgow, because I did that at the Whisky Fringe, and it's not that fun when you're a few drams deep. Try to navigate that back yourself. Catch up with the chat. Do you think we'll have a new Whisky Lock in 5 years' time? Codger, I think we'll have a new Whisky Lock in about a year's time. I think there already is one there. Jeff did a great video about this as well. I just think we're all sitting on a lot of bottles, and it's getting harder and harder to justify buying unless something stand out. Like, I'll buy Thompson Brothers stuff. I'll buy some Adelphi if it's something a bit special. I'll pick up the odd Chichibu if it's something a wee bit special. But outside of that, I've bought the one that was going to be my Whisky of the Year is right behind me. I'll have that after I have the bourbon. But it was a Signatory, the Ben Rinnes Signatory, £44 it cost me online. I picked it up at the Whisky Exchange. Why would I pay anything else? That's phenomenal whiskey. And it's getting tougher because I think you're seeing prices increase. People are getting squeezed, but I don't see them leaning in and helping us out, if that makes sense. I don't see them asking the community or asking the whiskey drinkers, like, what can we do? How can we help? And the ones that did do that, your likes of Glasgow and your Ardnamurchan and Delphi and stuff like that, they're seeing the benefit of loyalty. Whereas the ones that did a bit of a cash grab are kind of all scrambling, and they're all scrambling the same thing. Where the rebrands and everybody try to be premium. There's only so much premium. I would rather just buy whiskey that I enjoy. I don't need to take the punt on. New Trump tariffs will have an impact. Yeah, they will, Craig. The new Trump tariffs will have an impact, and like you've got India, the massive importer of Scotch, now turning out really good whiskey on their own. Well, that's going to have an impact. I got a bottle of my Secret Santa this year. Excuse me. In my whiskey group, got me the Indre Drew Cask Strength. Obviously, I've not opened it yet because the night I opened the box was the last time I had a drink. Sorry. So all that's been going on. Dave, come to Somerton, St Albans, train there and back. Yeah, St Albans. I'm southeast, Codger, so I could get up there. I've done. St Albans is great for a bar crawl, by the way. Tons of good pubs. We did it for a friend's birthday, so I'll have a look at that and see what the dates are like. Anthony, Cork was on my dad was born 1927. We lost in 23. Sorry to hear that. Good innings though. That's a decent innings. Do you go to Cork much, Anthony? Bar 22. Hello, just joined. My dinner's on still. Suggestions for my glass this evening. Trying to go your dinner. Something wet. Get something wet in the glass. Yeah, I think we are toeing the door to the lock at the moment. Belts are tightening more than ever, and the choice is getting bigger. Exactly, and I think we had a good run. Then we had the madness of speculative buyers, which in turn drove pricing up because everybody was seeing what was happening at auction and all wanted a piece of the pie. And everybody was like, a lot of the brands were guilty of that, like even your Springbanks and stuff. So a lot of them pushed it. Springbank came out with those mental releases that were super expensive. Macallan, let's put it that way. And then you've got what Diageo doing with their special releases, and over the Christmas period, like in the run up, you were getting mad bargains on Amazon because they're sitting on a ton of stock. Diageo, ton of stock. I picked up the Talisker Special Distiller's Edition, the Amoroso cask. I quite liked it. I know some people that hated it. I enjoyed it. And that was £32. Normally it goes for like 60, 70 quid. I saw special releases going at 50 that were 120. Everybody's feeling the pinch. No pairing required. One more bourbon scene. You're having one. Knob Creek 12. I've got the... Yeah, Craig, I've not opened that yet. Should I go for it? I've still got so much. I was thinking about this, and I was going to do it in my recap video about how much of the bourbon that I brought back from America I just haven't opened. Because you do that thing where you kind of keep bottles for special occasions or share with people and whatever, and the occasion never comes. So I find that when I open it, it does just get drunk, and that's better. Anthony only ever been to Dublin. Keep on meaning to go to Cork, and I've got round to it. I've been to Cork once, a long time ago. My problem is it's the pricing of the hotel, the accommodation in Ireland just now is insane. And I went a couple of years ago when I was in Dublin, and I asked the taxi driver, I was going to Gravediggers for a few pints, and I said, why are all the hotels so expensive? What's going on here? And he told me whether this is true or not. But basically, when they were accepting the Ukrainian refugees in and people like that, the government said, right, we'll put them in hotels. Right, hotels, give us an average rate. What's your average room rate? And we'll pay you that to accommodate these people. And what they all did was they all just inflated the prices massively. They all got together and inflated it, and they've just never brought them down. And so you're looking at, like, even in Cork, I was looking like a Tuesday night, and it was like €190 for just a basic hotel. So I'm trying to make the Cork one work. I might try and do a day trip, Prime Mutton style. I don't know if you know who Prime Mutton is. You should check him out on YouTube. He is a character, to say the least. But he did a day trip from Manchester to Cork, so it is viable. Jeff was gutted to miss it in the bargain Lagavulin. Me too. I didn't get any of that. So I just had to console myself with the remnants of my Cadden Heads Enigma one, which is just fantastic. Craig Dornan, it's beautiful. Soon you're talking about the Knob Creek 12, yeah. All down the Black Lodge for Bourbon Night then. You know what? I've been told that one of my mates came round, he's like, you should sell tickets. All you can drink tickets. Put it on like via like on one of the ticket websites and get people to buy tickets, and they come in with a QR code or something. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure my wife would love to see people just trudging down the side of the house into the garden and then leaving. Sadly, we have no toilet facilities down here, otherwise that would absolutely be happening. Deanston 15 organic is wet the glass. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Cheers. On that note, I'm going to go to the bourbon case and get a bourbon. Craig, I've changed my mind. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go for the Knob Creek. I'm not opening it just now. Not because I don't want to, more because from this to that to the next dram, I want something that's going to be nice. And I'm going with a single barrel Dickel 15 Tennessee whiskey. Now, if you watch Bruzel, he goes on about the Dickel and the minerality of the Dickel. And I always wondered what he meant by that. But what it's like, the only way I can, if you've not had Dickel, it's a bit like Jack Daniels has it. Good Jack Daniels, not number 7. It's like a kind of metallic-y, pebbly type minerality. That's the only way I can describe it. But there's a lovely sweetness to it. There's a wee bit of herbiness to that, because I'm coming from the sherry. And then there's this rich sweetness, and it's delicious. And it's really, if you know anyone in the States, and I'm sure a couple of guys will back me up on this, it's really easy to come by, the Dickel stuff. I'm wanting a bottle of the Dickel 8, which is super easy. I just like the way that looks. So I'm going to try and get my mate to get me one of those the next time he's over. This is 48.1%. Easy going. Really enjoy it. He picked this up at Bevmo in California. And he loved it so much himself that for Christmas he got his mother-in-law to get my bottle as well. So we're both shilling the Dickel. I got the nod in the Lagavulin Distillers Edition 2020. Yeah, look at that. That's, 32 quid for Lagavulin Distillers Edition. Of course, why wouldn't you? And it kind of sickens you a wee bit, doesn't it? How much they charge normally. Craig, it takes you 20 minutes to get through the wax top on the Knob Creek. Yeah, I know, I'm looking. Yeah, I picked up my Knob Creek 12 was at the I picked up at Jim Beam at the distillery. And I was selling the 2023 for 32 quid. Yeah, it's just mad. Absolutely mad. There's bargains to bet. This is what I mean. So I think the whiskey lock will be coming, is here even. And people are starting to, the likes of Diageo can shift it at that price because it's costing them buttons. It's the smaller distilleries for me that I don't understand how they're going to cope. I think Thompson Brothers will be fine. I think the Donlock Distillery will be fine because they have the reputation as an independent bottler, and that will always help them kind of shift stuff. A bit like Ardnamurchan had with Adelphi. Signatory, they're going to be fine. The stock they have, they'll be absolutely fine. I'm wondering about like I might butcher this name. Is it Lindors or Lindres? I'm not sure how they're going to cope. How Loch Leyer's going to cope. Like there's so many of them that pop up, and I'm just wondering how they're going to keep the lights on with what they're doing. It's lovely. I got that as a gift. He brought that over for me as a gift. And we took it to, if you know London, if you don't, there is a great Indian restaurant called Tyab's. And we cracked it open in Tyab's while having their world famous lamb chops. And I went down a treat. And he messaged me. He lives in LA, so the time difference. So I wake up to messages from him and it's just like, can't stop thinking about lamb chops. And then the next day it was, I want that Dicko. That experience, that one meal, warped his brain, and he's now into his bourbon. He's now into whiskey. I've got him into whiskey, and I've sent him. I got him to get the Dicko. Well, he got the Dicko himself. He got that for his Christmas. He went to. He got a new gig, new job. Delighted, and he's like, "What should I go and buy? I just need something that's readily available." And so I said, "Go and get the Old Forester, 1920. You will not be disappointed." And he wasn't. And so I've got a bottle of that as well. Another just cracking, easily available bourbon. They're there if you know where to go. It's just we don't get them at the price they should be after import. Anthony, Signatory 100 proof will be this year's big buys. I think, yeah, absolutely. I think I've seen a couple of other independent bottlers take some jabs at Signatory. Don't know if you've seen that. Look, it's not their fault that they are sitting on casks that they paid a fair rate for. They didn't chase the market, and I think you're going to see a lot of independent bottlers struggle a wee bit because they've spent a lot of money on alright whiskey, but they're trying to make returns on it. They're trying to get their money back, and you see it with some Killila 8 at like 90 quid. Who's paying 90 quid for a Killila 8? You know, like, it's silly. We were paying a couple of years ago 40 quid. So Signatory are going to clean up, I think, this year, and quite rightly. I think the latest releases have been phenomenal. As I said, the Ben Rinnes behind me. The Ben Rinnes is unbelievable. If you've not got it, there's a few places still selling it. Just buy a bottle, blind. It's everything you could want in a Ben Rinnes. Everything. It was going to be my whiskey of the year, and then I thought, maybe people can't get it as easily, but it's phenomenal. We had it at our Christmas lunch. We have an annual Christmas lunch at Tyab's as well, and we all brought our bottles, and I cracked that one open, and everybody was just like, "This is unbelievable!" Like 58%. Drinks like juice. Unreal. I'd love to know, right? I was talking about year-end whiskey of the year. What was your guys' favourite whiskey last year? And I know that it varies depending on who you're with, what you're drinking, whatever. But even a top three, like what stood out to you? Shouldn't have dead air. Need to try and not be too quiet. I'm just checking this. I had a message. Yep. Basically, I don't know if anybody's seen the SAS drama that's on BBC at the moment. And it's like the start of the SAS during World War II and stuff. And Jack O'Connell plays a Northern Irish army guy. And it's the accent it just doesn't do it for me. I used to watch Sons of Anarchy, and I really enjoyed it until they had this whole subplot about the IRA and that, and they just hired all these Americans and that to do these Irish accents, and it just put me off. I couldn't watch it. And then it's the same with that. I was trying to watch it. I was really enjoying the premise, but this fake accent just kept taking me out of it. And I don't know if it's because I know a lot of Northern Irish people and stuff like that, and so I'm used to the accent, and I don't know if maybe people who aren't as familiar with Northern Irish people could enjoy it. Anyway, It was Whisky Mitch from Not Another Whisky podcast. He'd posted about it, and I messaged him back. I said it's like claws on a chalkboard. I live in North Wales and collect my local distillery. Aberfoils is a local massive Penderyn collectors in Wales, and some of mostly cheap. Yeah, Aberfoils. So that local distillery, one of my close friends, one of my best mates, his family's from probably that same area as you, Anthony. Because that was when that was opening. He was really excited about it. And he got the inaugural. I think we all got the inaugural, and then it just went, and it like in the supermarket. And then somebody told me, I think they're owned by the same people that own, is it that Whitley gin and the Dead Man's Fingers rum? So they just churn out. And then Penderyn, like I've got a cracking SMWS Penderyn there. They make some good stuff. Cod, your favourite last year was Cotswold Amber Medal. Didn't try it, mate. Like, what made it your favourite? What stood out for you? Signatory, Secret Orkney, BWS, Isle of Harrick, Heritage Batch 1. I've had the only one of that. Craig is the BSW I had. Secret Orkney. Now, is that Secret Orkney Scapa or is that Highland Park? And then the Isle of Harris. Yep, I had that as well. I had the Batch 1. It was great. Really good. It was really nice that they were able to take the time because of the unexpected success of the gin. Harris. Peathead, most surprising was Dilune, Brave New Spirits Voodoo, Tasty and the stunning Single Castle Pulteney. Last one, Glen Scotia, Alice in Campbelltown. I will say those Glen Scotias, they normally have quite a good stock. One of the first SMWS bottles I ever had, and we still have it here. And I say we is because I bought one and it was called Cherry Blossoms in Campbelltown, Glen Scotia, and it was phenomenal. And I said to my mates, I said, look, this is unreal. We should do a split. We should all chip in and buy this bottle. It was like 55 quid. And he was like, yep, absolutely. So we all paid like £14 or whatever it was. And we bought it. And that was in 2020. And it's still sat here unopened, and every time they come round we're like, nah, let's just wait, we'll wait, and we've never opened it. But I've still got my bottle with about that much left in it. They're great. And Dilune, great spirit. What was it finished in, that voodoo one? Or like what kind of cask? Because it's like the waxiness that Dilune always gets me. I like it really waxy. And then Old Pulteney. I'll be honest, I've not touched any Old Pulteney for a while because I had a bad experience with one of their actual bottles. So it's not been on my radar for a while. Hillwood International now follows Liverpool-based monster company, makes tons of gin especially, yeah. HP. So the secret on this HP, I can only imagine it's great. Love it. Craig, what's the profile like on it? I had the Highland Park 18 at a show, I remember a couple of years ago. Like Highland Park 18, it's easily available. But I just never had it because they'd put the price up, and it reminded me of like a tangerine, like not like a chocolate orange, but like a tangerine orange. I remember that. Cod, your Amber Meadow was so well balanced, full of flavour, and just bloody gorgeous. Only downside 100 quid. Aye, it's quite jarring, isn't it, when it's like that? It's just, surely they can make it a wee bit cheaper than that, because that hunt, like, price points, I feel like once you hit 85, once something goes above 85 for me, it becomes a struggle. So that's why I held off buying that for so long, because it was 85, 86, whatever. 50, give me it off the shelf. Obviously that was on sale, but I think if it was 75, fine, I would have picked it up before that. Craig renewed my membership for 65 quid, received mystery bottle worth 95 quid, winner. Brilliant, really well done. Did anybody else see Craig, I'd hate to say it, but there was the code that went around, an SMWS code that gave you a year's free membership, and it gets shared left, right and centre, and a lot of people got emails saying, we know that you got this code wasn't for you, but it's fine. So maybe that's why you got the mystery bottle worth so much, because I think they owe it to people that actually paid for membership. Doug Union bourbon cask, yeah, oh, great. I'm assuming, well, based on that, Petehead, is it an assumption to say that you're not a big fan of the sherry, or is it just coincidence that all three of those were all bourbon? I do love a bourbon cask, see when it's done well. I've got that Springbank there. Is it the Springbank 18 that's 100% bourbon cask? And I had it at Whisky Fringe. And it just never, I don't know what it was. It's probably because beforehand I'd been to Cadenhead and stuff and tried some mental high proof stuff. But I came in, I had a lag first. I can never say that word. Tokaki. That type of, that wine, Hungarian wine cask. I had one of those, and then I went to Springbank and I tried the 18. I was really excited to have that bourbon. It had just been released, the 100% bourbon cask one, and it was alright. Wasn't amazing. So I don't know if it was just bottle shock. It was a fresh pour, so whatever. Craig, don't be sad. Don't be sad. There's nothing to be sad about. But you could probably drop him an email and be like, hold on a minute. What happened here? You might get next year for free. Petehead, I indeed don't want my whiskey to be grape polluted. That's fine. Each to their own. Absolutely each to their own. Half the time, some of these casks, it's not even great. Tokai. That's it. Tokai. I did this on the live stream. I just never know how to say it. It's the one word that always catches me out. Tokai. You think I would remember? I'm never going to remember. I'm going to make the same mistake again. At least I'm consistent. That decal went down. Smashed that decal. That was lovely. It's quite thin, but not in a bad way. There's a lot of substance to it, but the minerality of it makes complete sense. It's kind of like a little metallic-y. Pebble is the only way I can describe it. Not that I've had pebbles in my mouth, but you can kind of almost understand it when you say that. Right, live on stream, we're going to taste test these mellow milk whiskies. Just the content that everybody wants to see. I'm going to be honest with you. If you've just drank 2 whiskies, you're just going to taste chocolate. Maybe I'll come back to that another time. Lovely. Just like milk chocolate. Yeah, they're super rich. I can taste no whiskey. That's probably been my problem. Audio is low. Right, let me try and fix that. How's that? Any better? This is one of the things with trying to do these live streams, because you don't know what it sounds like. It's quite difficult. I can also, let me just maybe try and adjust this a little bit. That should maybe make it a little bit louder. I'm just conscious I don't want it picking up too much of the rain that's going. Right, we'll go there. How's that? Bit better. Let me know in the chat. Right, I'm going to go and get, while I wait, I'm going to go and get that Ben Rinnis. All good, brilliant. Sorry about that, guys. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that's quite difficult to get on top of. Sometimes it's just plug and play. I think I've got too much tech going on, to be honest. I overcomplicate it sometimes for myself. So we were talking about signatory. You can see how much is left. But look at the colour of that. That's mental. Get it really close. %57.1%. First fill Oloroso sherry butts. Avert your eyes, Petehead. Just on the nose. It's like Ribena. Black currants, raspberries. Very Black Forest Gatto. And it drinks. 57%, it drinks easy. It's so dangerous. So dangerous. Yeah, very active cask. Good cask. A good cask as well, at that. "29th of November 2024, bottled. Just... I need to get another one. I do need to get another one because it's unbelievable how good that is. I know some people got the Manickmore. Loved that. They got the Milton Duff. Apparently it's sensational. My one of my old bosses was leaving, so as a leaving gift I got him the Secret Speyside, the Macallan one, because I think I paid £47 for that Macallan. I think it was a no-brainer, because I was just like, here, take that away. He's not, I don't think he's a massive whiskey guy. He's came to a few whiskey tastings I've done for charity and stuff through work, and he always enjoys them. But I just thought, you know what, if I'm going to give you something, I'm going to give you something really good. Really good. Exactly, Petehead, enjoy. Yeah, because if everybody enjoyed it, then you wouldn't get it. I'm not huge on my... This is the thing, I'm not... I wouldn't say I'm overactive in sherry. I like my sherry, but when it's too sherried, I want to taste whiskey. So I'm not huge on like when it's super sherry. Ben Rinnes to me is a perfect spirit for that sort of cask. Because there's enough heft and enough depth and enough meatiness to Ben Rinnes that can tame the cask. And still taste like a whiskey. Like, it doesn't... if I want a sherry, I can go and get a sherry. You know, like I can drink a Pedro Jimenez on its own. I can have Oloroso. I don't want that. I found when Springbank did one, the online year, when it was the online tasting, when we were during lockdown, it was just sherry. It was so dark. It was so sherried. I just never enjoyed it. And I'll be honest, I sent my bottle to auction because I was just like, I couldn't give it to anybody. I couldn't go anywhere. I sent it to auction, and the price was mental. It went for like 4 times what I paid for it. And so then I just bought better bottles, my taste buds. But then when they brought out the actual Pedro Jimenez release of that sherry series, it was better. It was more subdued. But then I was kind of like, well, what have they done here? Because it was from the same kind of batch. I want to taste the whiskey. I don't want to taste something covering it up. But that's just... I'm a big Ben... I love Ben Rinnes. I just think Ben Rinnes is such an underappreciated distillery. A bit like Frank's saying there, Petehead. I'm glad it's underappreciated because it leaves more for me. I can swoop in. Is there somewhere, like, you're talking about bourbon matured whiskey, but do you have a distillery that is like your distillery? Something that's kind of under the radar that you feel I can always get something there? I know Linkwood's been mentioned before, or or whatever. There's a couple for me that I just think they don't fly under the radar. We're all geeks and enthusiasts for whiskey, so it's not exactly off our radar. But I feel like a lot of the time, eyes are diverted elsewhere to the shiny thing of the Springbanks, and we can swoop in and get them. I feel like Benrinnes for me, I can always pick that up. Glengarry. I feel like Glengarry's the thinking whiskey man's drink. I feel like a lot of people, when you get to people, they go Glengarry. Secretly whisper it. Why do I have a Coke, you might ask? I'm doing no beer. I know I did beer this week, but that was because of the football. But I'm doing no beer now. Off the beer. Until whenever. Linkwood, Manickmore, Glenburgie, Glenlossie, yeah. We have high performance radars. Exactly. No, we do. Linkwood, fantastic. Manickmore. And I'm putting all these... Frank Peathead, I'm putting all these in the context of bourbon casks as well. When you're mentioning them. They're all just such, like... Especially Linkwood. I find the Linkwood super fruity. Like, just super... Like, it's just... but I think that's my problem with Linkwood, where I feel like Linkwood's more summery to me. I could be completely wrong. It's all subjective, but Linkwood for me is like summer drams. I'd probably say most of those as well. But I wonder if that's because because I associate sherried ones with winter. I don't know. Maybe that's where it's going. You should see in front of this. I've got this pile of books because I've done that book thing. I've got a bottle of Benrinnes at my feet. I need to move. I've got the Dickel. I've got a wee Coke. A couple of wee samples. Sat here. We'll get more organised. As the year goes on, guys, we'll get more organised and we'll get these streams into a better place. Craig just had the SMWS Glen Grant bourbon cask way too dry. Right, it's just poor cask. What age was it? Cheshire company called Fireside Special Release. Top Whisky last year, and they bring out another Fireside this year. So what you need to give me more, Anthony. What made it your top whisky? What was, especially something as like kind of niche and bespoke as that? What kind of caught your attention? What brought it to the forefront? I'm just going to say, if you want a bargain, if you've not had it, just Google this and buy a bottle before I buy them up. That Benrinnes is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Maybe I've made a terrible mistake saying the Kubokin was my whisky of the year. The Benrinnes is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Do you like Petersburg Winter as well? Yeah. Yes and no. I think I link whiskey, I link whiskey with time and place, I think, or maybe like more emotive. I remember how it made me feel. I don't know if you ever know the phrase about like if somebody's rude or whatever to people, and it's like you might not remember the words, but they'll always remember how you make them feel. And I feel like whiskey can be like that, where sometimes I don't remember the exact taste, I don't remember why, but I remember the feeling and the nostalgia and the memory of the environment. And I think there is something about the sherry and whiskey being quite wintry. That flavour combo, especially the sherry, because of the nature of it, with the kind of cinnamony Christmas pudding, like all those kind of flavours that are very autumnal, wintry by definition. And so then like maybe a Daffmill, like a nice light green apple-y Daffmill, I would associate with summer, because that's when I've had those. So yeah, I don't know. I would probably say yeah. I probably associate like that. I wouldn't rule out having something summer or winter because, oh no, I only drink that. It's not like red wine with red meat and white wine with fish and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be like that, but yeah, I definitely associate them that way. I need someone in a group when a bottle that opened it. A group that was a convert. It's heavily sherried, which is my thing. Yeah. So like by heavily sherried though, is it dry? Is it tannic? Is it more of a fruity sherry? PT not season for me, but is the climax of the session, last round of the evening. Yeah, no, absolutely. I have to kind of bounce around, and so when I had the Kuboken at the start, it's lightly peated, so you can get away with it as a starter, just about. But that's why I went to bourbon, and then I've came back to the Ben Rinnes, which isn't, as far as I'm aware, this isn't peated. No, not peated. Yeah, because you can get a wee bit peat blind as well. Dutch, so don't know the phrase, but got the point confirmed. Yeah. Overpowering enchantment. 19-year-old never got any taste notes, just dryness, a bit like the Green River. You'll get that. There'll be certain ones that are just very like dry at your palate. I find it with bourbons especially, that the rye, it makes it's so funny because you can seem like a bourbon expert, because you can ask about the mash bill and say that's a high rye mash bill, and I do that just by the fact that all the moisture in my mouth is sucked out and my tongue's stuck to the roof of my mouth, and I'm like, I assume that's a high rye mash bill, and they're like, oh yeah, no, it's like 90% rye, and I'm like, yeah, I can tell. But it's probably just a bad cask, unfortunately. Not getting any taste, it's just dryness. Yeah, there's nothing worse. That's great. It's really good. It's really good. It was great. We had that. The reason we went through so much of it was we were at Christmas, so fresh bottle, opened it up, but we were having it with lamb chops and curry, of all things, and it worked amazing. Having it on its own is still fantastic, but it's so rich, such a rich dram, that I don't know if I could have loads of them in one sit. I don't know if I think I could pour another one, if that makes sense. Part of me is like, maybe I'll pour something else. Whereas maybe the Kuboko and the Dickel, I could have poured again. So that's quite interesting. It's funny, isn't it? How like the food pairing, Glenn. Food pairing. Hope your dinner was good. Have you had your dinner? I like Octomore, and no people tell me it's too expensive. Yeah, but Octomore, like that. The Octomore's a proper take off. It's the challenge you to a duel. It's take off the leather gloves and slap her in the face of peat. And it is too expensive in a bar. If you're buying a bottle of it, fine. We went to, I remember this a couple of years ago. There's the video of mine where we go to Artisan for the first time. So it's way back when I started doing videos. And I tried the Ardna Gherkin. I'm pretty sure it's that video. We go to the Bon Accord, and I order something, I can't remember what I ordered, but my mate orders the, and it's a mate his family's from Aberfalls. He orders the Octomore, and I think it was 20 quid. I think it was 20 quid for the dram. And we know, like, Octomore's what, 120, 140 quid for the bottle. They're charging you 20 quid. That was hard to swallow. That was a hard one. Like, come on, what are you doing here? So anyway, it was so peaty. It was so peaty. That you really regretted it. You really regretted that. Craig, Flavour Vlog need to go there. The Artisan one, yeah, you have to. Like, I will. To this day, it's a pilgrimage for anybody into whiskey. If you have time to go to Scotland, and you can get to Glasgow, then it's a 30-minute train journey or a 30-minute cab. Same. You can get there. It's so unassuming from outside. So unassuming. So in a little... Wishaw is a tiny town. Even like my parents who live there, like in Glasgow, I'm like, I'm going to Wishaw, and they're like, why are you going to Wishaw? You go to Wishaw, you walk down the high street, and it's just a restaurant frontage, and you go inside, and it's unbelievable. And obviously, he knows what he's doing. You know, he's well known. His food's fantastic. His whiskey selection is unbelievable. His Friends of Brute Laddie collection. If you want to have a good time, you go for lunch. That's my recommendation. Go for lunch, and then you come back. Well, you don't come back. You don't leave. You come back to Glasgow at like 11 o'clock at night, and you've had the best time, and there's still money in your pocket because it's priced to drink. Is what I loved. It was priced to drink. It wasn't priced based on this is in demand or this is that. So like Daft Mill was what, £100 a bottle, 110 a bottle. A dram of Daft Mill was a tenner. So you everything was kind of just worked out the right way. When the first time I was there, I think there was a 23, 24-year-old G&M bottle of Macallan, and it was like £23 a pour. Like, you're not getting that anywhere else. Favourite vlog, need to go there. You were rough. That was due to the hospitality the night before at the football. We took full advantage of a pub crawl the whole way there to the football, and then hospitality, and then back out that night, and then the next day just regret my life. Anthony, the fireside for me is a winter dram, fully dark chocolate, spicy, only 9. Yeah. Oloroso PX casks. Yeah. So that's what I mean. You could have that in the summer. I just don't know if it would work, but you could maybe have it summer situation, churros and chocolate, and one of those. And I'm saying that because you go to Seville and you have the PX and the churros and chocolate. And you can have that. It's 40 degrees outside and it's perfect. Artisan do great haggis too. Yes, they do. I went last year, 2 years ago, for Burns night. We had a Burns lunch. A good few of us went up. I'm supposed to be going this year for Burns Day, for lunch. I'm still trying to organise that. I'm still trying to find permission for late January to do that. So we'll see if I can make it up. It's fantastic. It's just the best. It's so good. My local shop just got some Octomore and range prices from 200 to 350 USD a bottle, Rob. So what's that? 200's what exchange rate? About 130, 140? Is that right? In pounds? That's fair. I think that's Octomore price. I would say Glen bar 220 is probably better to tell you if it's worth buying those bottles. I'm not a big Octomore person. I don't know. I would love one. It's just I would buy it and it would just sit on the bar behind me. I don't think I would open it, and I don't think many people would drink it. They come round because it's so in your face. Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's right. Peahead. Artisan has the biggest Brute Laddie collection in the world, bigger than the distillery. They do, yeah, and they ask them to take pictures of it and send it. It's really funny. It's a mad place. It's such a mad. It's mad. Yeah, that's it. Glen, Wishaw. It's a tiny town past Motherwell. Motherwell's bigger than Wishaw, and Motherwell's not big. It's absolutely bizarre that they have this unbelievable. Like, I think he said to me, there's like 3,000 open bottles in the restaurant. 3,000 open bottles, and he's got another, like, well, at the time 3,500 in his loft waiting to come in. Alistair, my dram is Epicurean Glasgow edition, great. Douglas Lang special. They were one of the first bottles bottlers that I bought when I started trying to get into whiskey, which would have been about 2017, 2018, maybe. A friend of mine bought me a bottle of Blanton's. I say a friend of mine, through work. He gifted me this bottle of Blanton's, and I never knew what Blanton's was. Wee horse on top, and he's like, oh, these are really... This £55 bottle of bourbon. And I'm like, my God, 55 quid, whatever. And then I enjoyed it, and then I still have it. I think it's still in, yeah, it's there. And then I used to work at Covent Garden, so I went into the Whisky Exchange at Covent Garden, went down the stairs into the whiskey bit, and the first shelf you see, they had all the Douglas Lang, and Scallywag, and Timorous Beastie, and whatever, and because of my girlfriend, now wife, I was like, oh, I'll buy the Scallywag, because she had a dog, a little family dog. I thought I'll bring that round. So I have a huge soft spot for Douglas Lang bottles as a consequence of that. Peathead, needless to say, love Octomore. I would expect nothing less. When you're baking in the glass, yes, 200, 250, you can't not sip it slowly so it will last. Yeah. I think it's one of those bottles though, would you say that the Octomore is a dram that you would enjoy more in the company of others to discuss? Like movies. I don't know how you feel about movies, but with certain movies, you can go and watch movies yourself and that's fine, but then there's certain movies you go and see and you're like, oh, I really want to talk to people about this. And so then the experience is heightened by the discussion, the back and forth of that. I think Octomore to me has a little bit of that because it's so... It's such a smack in the face if you're not used to it. You might, if you are used to it as well though, you want to explore the nuances within the whiskey. I'll start at the Scallywags when I first told the word of whiskey. Yeah, people will criticise it. People will criticise those and you've got to start somewhere. And they were perfect. I bought that. I bought Timorous Beastie. I never bought Big Pete. Never ever went to Big Pete. I'm trying to think if I've got any just now. No, I don't have any of the latest ones. I've bought a couple of the more traditional, like independent bottles, single cask stuff. There was one that I missed out on before that I always regretted. That was I think it was an Ardbeg Halloween bottle they put out for 90 quid. They know what they're doing. They've got good stock, and this is the thing. I think there's a wee element of snobbery with some of these Scallywags and your Timorous Beasties and whatever, but they know what they're doing. So you have to kind of trust them a little bit. Right, we've done Kuboken, we've done Ben Rinnes, Dickel. Do I go back to bourbon? Or do I go to something behind me? I'm trying to see what's on. I've got that on the bar. You might see, you can't really see it is. Is it that bottle? Aye, it is. That bottle there is the Macallan A Night on Earth in Scotland. And again, you might know I've seen some of the videos I put out. I finally opened that because it's been sitting on my bar for years. Because of that stupid box it comes in. Lovely box, but stupid. And it's a tough drink. Let me put it that way. It's a tough drink. So I won't be drinking that. We have the Middleton there, 2024. Lovely, 40%. I probably won't go for that. But over there, I have a few that are just... No, I'm going to go bourbon. I'm going to go for something a bit good that Craig will definitely appreciate. I know that. Don't know if you can see what that one then. Get it? A bit closer. 23B Stag. No longer Stag Junior. Only got that left. We took this. This was for charity tasting as well. My contribution for the charity tasting is I take all the bottles. And then people pay through work for the tickets for the tasting. But I make sure they get good stuff. Right, let me catch up in the chat. I wish I had drinking guests that could appreciate, tolerate Octomore, but it's a sole indulgence mostly. Yeah, it is. The tolerating, yeah, you need some stronger heads. Rob, I've two older Octomores. I'd love to share them with friends. Yep, absolutely. On theme, so pour myself an Octomore. No, McAllen, Coke Dave, get a North Star down you. Haven't tried. You've no tried this Stag, Craig. We'll sort that out. I've got a few. I've managed to over the years pick up a few. It's great. It's really good. This is bottled at 63.9, but unbelievable. I could get an North Star down me, but they're a way over. The North Stars are all. Let me do this right. They are down here. You can't see them on at the moment because I've not cleared the bar, but they're there. Once the blind tasting, I could not be sure if my dram was peaty or not. My incredulous host informed me it was a hypernova, so I quit for 6 months to do a hard reset. Fair enough. Just poured a dram of independent bottle to unique. Finished a covert. How is that? Rob, you'll need to tell us how that is. It's just it's a bourbon bomb. And I know, shouldn't be using the same glass, but we're all friends here. Immediate hit, it's just cherries and it's just bourbon. Just really good bourbon. It's just all those notes. For me, Buffalo Trace kind of distillery, anything coming from there from Frankfurt, it's very cherry cola, but fizzy cherry cola bottles. Just that sweetness, that lightness, but there's a depth to it as well. There's a reason those bottles go for mad money. It's just good, really good. This year I'm trying to not use the term good juice. I'm trying to get away from the word juice by default, because being Scottish, being Glaswegian and saying juice, it's very easy to mock. So I'm just going to not say good juice. I'm going to say quality liquid. It's really good. Really good. And again, very drinkable. 63.9. The tasting, we went round and for the non-initiated drinkers, it was very punchy. It was a very punchy drink. But once they went round, we did 2 rounds. I always kind of make sure they leave a bit in the glass. And obviously top up afterwards, but leave a bit in the glass, come round again, and the second time they were like, oh, they were starting to get it. They were starting to smell and taste. 107 when you do yours. They're still sitting there, Craig. The Wellers are all there. They're all still there. Luckily, still do taste the peat, mainly because I drink non-peated, despite the nickname. Just poured a smoke wagon, uncut, unfiltered. The young couldn't have woken me up. I'm going to need it. Smoke wagon. Do talk to me about the smoke wagon. Smoke wagon is it Vegas? We're right in saying Vegas. I've not tried any of theirs. There's quite a few of those kind of Bruzel tipped whiskies that I've just never gotten around to doing. Free Ranch, Smoke Wagon, stuff like that. And I'm like, obviously I love my Scotch and I love my like world whiskey. I've really enjoyed, last year I really enjoyed going down the bourbon avenue as well, because I think it does help your palate. I think you learn more by experiencing more. It's the same as like your nose and all that kind of stuff. It's so funny how the liquid changes where it's distilled. Like Balcones versus Dicko versus like Buffalo Trace. But then you get Buffalo Trace versus Four Roses and all that kind of stuff. It helps so much to be able to do it. I don't know if any of you's watched my cocktail video where I made the double bourbon and coke cocktail, which was I believe it was Stag and the Rip Van Winkle, and it was lovely. It was really, really nice. Don't recommend doing it. I was going to clip it. I was going to make it into a wee reel and push it, and then I just realised I don't really care enough to chase views, so I never got around to doing it. But maybe I should. Maybe I should clip it and just antagonise some people. Rob, the Tennessee is good oily with a peppery finish. Yes, as it should be, Rob. Excuse me a wee second. Just have to turn off we have security cameras in here for obvious reasons. But I have to snooze them when I come in, because if I turn them off I'll forget to turn them back on. And they just came back on. Do that. Alistair, the last bottle of bourbon I had probably was Wild Turkey 101, which is a fantastic bottle. It's an absolute belter of a bottle. 101, I would say pound for pound in the UK, probably the best value bourbon you can get. Because if you can get that, sometimes you can get it on Amazon for 20 quid, which is mental. I know people go, rare breed, Wild Turkey rare breed. You're not getting rare breed under 40 quid, 45 quid. Wild Turkey 101 at 20 quid, 25 quid. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Craig's just sent me a picture there of his 107, his Weller 107. You know what? I'll show you. I still have it. I do still have my 107, but it's not a flex or anything, but it's a bloody single barrel select 107 at that 53.5. My rule is I'm not opening it until I get a CYPB, and then I'll have the Infinity Stones lined up. You know, I'll have Special Reserve, 12, Antique, CYPB, and foolproof, and then we're good to go. And then the worst part is CYPB pops up sometimes on like Master of Malt, stupid money, like 50 quid. Anywhere else, the hundreds of pounds. So it might be a long wait. 101 best bourbon for an old fashioned. I would say I like a Woodford in an old fashioned. Yep, Vegas, not my favourite, distilled in Indiana, 58.3. So it's MPG. I think getting bourbon, getting an expensive one I would like to try is 13th Colony. I've not heard of 13th Colony, Alistair. Where are they? Craig, we'll open it when Rangers or Leeds win something. Aye, well, may as well put it in the vault. The way things are going. Good win this week for us, but doesn't mean I'm opening it. Again, that stag is brilliant. Really, really good. So guys, 2025, I'm going to change tack here, 2025. I'm going to be doing my year of whiskey, like the state of whiskey, 2025. I did it last year. And I think a lot of my predictions, I need to watch it back, but from what I remember, a lot of my predictions either came true or were close enough. What do you think the state of whiskey is this year? Like, what's kind of... Let's be optimistic. What's exciting you about this year, or what you're looking forward to? But then also, what are some things that you're kind of keeping an eye on, going, oh, I'm not sure about that. Is it the whiskey lock? Is it pricing? Is it all these new distilleries coming up on the scene? Is that exciting, or is that a bit of trepidation? Going like, what are you doing? Is it going to devalue what's going on already? Are we going to see some people make silly mistakes or not? I'd love to know. I'm using you guys as a sounding board for the actual the main channel videos that I'm putting out, because you guys are here through thick and thin, so I want to make sure that what I'm putting out correlates with what you guys are thinking, if that makes sense. I'm having a wee think myself about like what I hope for this year. I think this year's more about, I think we're seeing a rise of blends. I've noticed blends coming up quite big, and that's been great. And I think people spoke about it. And is it price point, or is it quality, or is it just a desire to do something different? So that's been good. Mine's it's going to be the same as last year, probably, that I worry that how do we get more people in? How do we get more people in the door? And I'm not talking about let's get more women in. It's not about a sex thing. It's not about men versus women. It's palate and it's cost. And I think the biggest driver's cost, followed by palate. There's a reason young people don't drink whiskey. Palate's not ready for it. I tried when I was young. I hated it. Most Scottish people try it when they're young, and that's why a lot of Scottish people don't drink whiskey. So it's I just worry that we don't do enough to encourage people in the door. We can be quite snobbish. We can be quite abrasive, quite high horse. So that's always, every year I feel like I just go over the same thing, but it's because we're no fixing it, we're no addressing it. I think some people are trying different angles, and I think that's good. But do you think cost? Do you think it's just cost at the end of the day? Bar 220, Glenn, state of whiskey, cautious. Yeah, I'd say cautious as well. What I'm most looking forward to is reducing the number of bottles on my shelf and going to more meetups, festivals. Yep, absolutely, Codger. I think that was my... When I first got into whiskey as well, it was during lockdown, proper. And I was so excited about seeing people and talking to people and the energy. And I think the Glasgow show, the most energy I felt. but that's because I kind of maybe knew more people. I think Whisky Fringe has that as well, to an extent. I think London, because of the scale of it, you kind of you can go there as a group or meet people there, but you're all kind of like, no, I've got to go and conquer this field. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe reduce the number of bottles. Maybe put some of that money into those trips, those meetups, and those people, because I think that whiskey is. That's why I love whiskey. Whiskey is about sociable. It's being sociable, and it's meeting people, and it's talking about it, and it's enjoying it. And I think I made that connection earlier about movies. When you see a good movie and you want to share that experience, and I feel like that's whiskey. It's not. I'm sat here solo in the Black Lodge drinking these, but I'm not. I'm drinking them with you guys, and I'm talking through it with you guys, and I'm enjoying the experience. I don't need to hit go live for this. I could sit here and drink these myself. There's no fun in that. No fun. Most looking forward to festivals for distilleries. Some might go on the way of the dodo. Hope not, but kind of worried. Yeah, I think some will. I think it's coming. It is what it is. Like, there's too many. There's just too many. There's not enough of us. And this is what I'm saying. For them to survive, we need more in. But then when they're coming out with no wage statement, bottles at 85 quid. No. It doesn't work. Craig, new distilleries used to encourage founder members with a good return for investment. Now they want 3k for 3 blends and 5 young bottles in return. Exactly. That's the problem. The give and take between the punter and the maker. A lot of them just don't. They see it as transactional. It's a one-way transaction. You'll take it and you'll like it, and we're going to charge you for that. We're going to charge this amount, and they don't get the loyalty. If you lean in a tiny bit, you get so much more back. And I'm using Glasgow as an example. Let's be honest, Glasgow distillery was pretty average, being kind, for the first couple of years. They had the 500ml bottles, or 50cl, however you want to say it. And it was fine. It was fine whiskey. And then there was a step change, and I don't know if it was the maturity of the whiskey. I don't know if it was the influence of people involved there. I'm not talking about the size of the bottle changing. I'm talking about the quality of the liquid changed. And the lean in to the whiskey community happened. And they said, we're going to make the bottles bigger. We're going to keep the price the same. And we're also going to put out these special releases at the same price. And we're going to get them into the hands of as many whiskey enthusiasts as possible. And they obviously punted them to Dramface and stuff as well, and gave them some free bottles. And trusted themselves and went, we back ourselves, this is good. Try it. And lo and behold, it was really good. And so that's bought them so much credit amongst people that are still spending money. Like, loads of brands would have seen an uptick in December from gifting, and then it's dead, especially now, dead, till probably April. So they're doing that. So again, I've got a million thoughts about this, but my concern is we are not bringing in new people. Lockdown's been and gone, so people like myself who kind of dabbled in it and then went down a rabbit hole don't have the time for that. People without the disposable income, because this is not a cheap hobby, we all know that. How do we get them into it? How do we make them realise that, like, we're saying, this is a bargain, 44 quid. I think they have in the UK, if I'm right, the average spend on a bottle of alcohol, like high proof alcohol, is like £18. So then you're asking people to go blind, and we're saying, 44 quid, bargain. There's so many factors in it. But But I think we have to have hope. We have to have hope. We have to be optimistic for everybody else. Bar 220, Glenn. Emptying a bottle gives me anxiety. I have a library mentality with my collection. I want one of everything, no matter how impractical that is. I am the exact same, Glenn. The exact same. I have a Pokemon mentality. I've got to catch them all. I've got to have... it's an airplane flying over me. Quite late. That's a bit weird. I've got to have one of everything, because what if someone comes to the Black Lodge and says they want XYZ bottle, and I'm like, I don't have it. So I try and keep. But then there's bottles as well. You end up keeping the bottles that you really enjoy. You don't want to finish. And I don't know, how do you guys feel about the oxygen over time? Because that's quite a contentious subject. I've seen people fill the bottles up with gas and all that, and parafilm it, and try and keep it right. I'm just like, it is what it is. It's been a good wee stream tonight, guys. I appreciate you all for showing up. It was obviously quite unprompted. I've got apologies, I'm just getting messages from the house. I have to just check in. Oh, it's been snowing. There's snow outside. Wow. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's always very impromptu. Hopefully over time, if I can get some schedule for this year organised, we can build this up. But don't think I don't appreciate it. Right, no more stag, because that is quite punchy. I can feel it now. Oh my god. We are going to go one more dram. Last dram of the evening. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Let me know. What should we go for? Alistair, you off? Have a great night. All the best. Peathead, when leveling the bottles below the label, the bottle goes in. It has to be empty spot. Yeah, I tried. I did. I made a concerted effort of trying to get rid of my bottles that were in that position. There was a lot of poor bottles as well. There was a reason they were there. Go peated. Right. Let me see. What have I got that could... Right. Indulge me. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, we've went peated. What happened there? Did the music stop? There we go. Back. We are going to go. You recognise that face? Of course you do. We are going for the Ralphie bottle. Ardnamurkin. Peated first fill American Oak ex-bourbon barrel. How's that, Petehead? That tickles your fancy, surely. 57.9%. Bottled to celebrate 1,000 reviews on YouTube. Cheers to you all. It's an absolute stunner. This is, without a doubt, my favourite Ardnamurchan I've ever had. I was so lucky to get a bottle of this. This was not the Glasgow Whisky Festival video. I'd managed to get it online, and then said hold it because I'm coming up for the festival and whatever, and obviously never went and picked it up in store while Ralphie was in store. And he was holding court, and I'm not bothering him. I was there. I was videoing away, and in that video you can hear him chatting away a load of chat, a load of Ralphie chat. It's not a wimpy dram. No, it's a great dram. This is why it's the last dram of the night. Rob, absolutely get into that Ardnamurchan. Get into it. It's they brought out a release. I say recently, maybe in the last 4 months. Quite a few whiskey shops in the UK got it. It was Golden Promise barley, Golden Promise malt. It has this really unique kind of syrupy oatiness to it. That's like a bit like a granola bar, porridgey type, just lovely. But you can smell that. There's a very similar smell to this, but with the peat over the top, a richness to it. The colour's beautiful, and it's just the peat of that is unbelievable. And I remember when I first had it, thinking, wow, Ralphie, man, the guy's nose and taste is off the scale. And then he revealed in the video that he never picked it. He just said to the guys, aye, pick me a cask, I trust you. And they did him well. They did him really well. Anthony got one of those and got the Ralphie Linkwood at the same time. How was the Linkwood? My favourite was the first 10 Drams exclusive. Yeah. A lot of Petehead. Right. If you want one on Instagram, please ping me your address and I'll send you it. I'll get it over to you in the Netherlands. I'll get it. Yeah. It's one of the guys that I know really well in the Whisky Exchange. He's a massive Ardnamurchan fanboy. Like, buys everything. Militant, picks everything up. And I said to him, I think this is my favourite. I think this is the best Ardnamurchan I've ever had. And this is when I first got it. And I brought it in and I was like, but that's my opinion. Maybe no. And gave him it and he was like, that's sensational. Yeah, it's great. It's just, what I love about Ardnamurchan is they have so many faces to them. They can produce something like this. They can produce something that's unpeated, full of flavour, delicious. They can put something in sherry. Their peated sherry stuff that I know Frank will hate, but phenomenal. That one, that ex-bourbon cask, just sings. Absolutely sings. Apologies, we're getting to that time of night. I have to check when the phone beeps. It's still snowing outside. I'm getting weather updates. The real feel outside at the moment is -7 here in the UK, in London. I'm nice and toasty in the Black Lodge, thank God. Let me see. Poured a dram of the AD0915 CK632. So I gave them shit for this because I hate that. I can never understand their codes. Rob, do you understand the codes? what is the 0915 CK632 mean? Because they brought out all those, even the standard releases, and they all did. It wasn't difficult to understand, but it was for me. So it was the 15 the year it was made, therefore that makes it 9 years old. $300 bottles in my stash, maybe only 8 or 10 open. Have a signatory link with open, and I do like it. Yeah, look, there's nothing wrong with not opening your bottles. I think that's the biggest. I hated that when I got into whiskey, and I was buying more whiskey than I could drink because it was locked down, and I didn't want to open them myself and just have all these open bottles. And I used to get people on Instagram, because I started on Instagram. Open your bottles, and I was like, I will. I'll get there. Just open to drink. Love McLean's Nose. Yeah, it's great. I feel like McLean's Nose is like a step up of Black Label. Like, just a wee step up. And I think it's a great introduction for people that... So, like, my uncle, his favourite whiskey is Johnny Walker Black Label. To him, that's a top tier. It's an expensive bottle to get. And I said to him, I was like, well, try this. Which is another 10 or 12 quid on top. But it's just a bit better. And that's what he found. CK simply is the cask number. So, okay, so CK is just cask. 632. And then the 915 though. What's the 915? I think there's a bit, I've got quite a delay on the chat versus what I'm seeing. Because I've moved to a new computer. So I'll need to tweak that. So apologies guys if I seem a wee bit behind. I'll put that on Instagram so you guys can see what I'm having to deal with. What code is the Ralphie bottle? The code is 166. So it's AD 0216 CK 166. .2024 is the year I embraced blended whiskey. Coming to unlock. Yeah. I think blended whiskey had a huge rise last year, finally. Not undeserved. I think the quality went up with certain blenders. The appeal came up because of pricing. So you were getting some really good blends at a decent price. And so why wouldn't you? Anthony, me too. 300 is a buck, so I'm slowing down. I stopped opening them at 200. Yeah, I counted mine. I'd shipped off. I've full disclosure again. I shipped off a load to auction, just because I just had a load of just crap that was just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm never going to open this. I'm not going to offer it then. No one's going to buy it off me. So I'm just going to send it to auction and see what I can get for it. I'm talking about, like, when I first started getting whiskey, I was buying Johnny Walkers. Like, just different Johnny Walker bottles and stuff. Because I like Johnny Walker. I didn't realise I would never open these. So I sent them off and stuff like that. It becomes a bit too unbearable. I think I've managed to get myself down to. Actually, I've not counted. I've probably got about in here. Maybe 200, 150, 200, and then I've got more in the house. I keep the good ones in the house. By that I mean the chichaboos. That is just like the boxes. I don't want them coming down here and getting a wee bit damp. Everything down here is to be drank. Right, I used to understand, but then they changed things and screwed me up. I believe it's September 2015. It is a single cask peanut blends. Then I tried the compass box. Nectarosity. No, I've not. I will say compass box though. I don't want to say I completely trust. 75% trust that what they put out is really good. So I'm sure it's good. I know that is that the Nectarosity, is that the new one? Because they rebranded, didn't they? They got rid of a couple of the older blends and they've brought in the new ones. Just think that is such a good dram. That Ralphie one. You'll have to excuse me a wee second. I need to pull up because I just want to get someone's name before I say it wrong. I tell you, I'm going to find it. Unfortunately. Give me a second. I know this is stimulating viewing at this time of night. Just want to make sure I get it right. No, I'm struggling to find it. It was basically that was it. Quig that passed away in December, and a lot of people might not know who Quig was because I didn't know who Quig was, and then I looked it up and I went, oh, I actually do know who Quig is. Quig was the guy that went viral because he was doing the whiskey review, i.e. drinking whiskey, while his wife left him. And he was doing that, but he wasn't doing it for I think it was a coping mechanism, but then he became so much more than that, and he put a load of content after that. And it's just mad. I just found it, when that happened, I found it quite I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's no reality check of that, but it was just kind of a wee shake of like, we all do these things and we all do like what we do. And I say what we do as in creators, people making something, putting ourselves out there to talk about something we enjoy. And that guy was doing that, and then his wife in the background walked away. And you must, if you've not seen it, you can find it really easily. You can search like whiskey review, wife leaves, or whatever, and it's mental. But he built this really good platform and he was doing a lot of good stuff, and then he just sadly passed away. And I never really seen many people talk about that at all, and I just thought, wow, tens of thousands of subscribers and whatever, and a community, but it's just funny. I just why did I bring it up? It was just, I just thought it's a nice wee thing he just mentioned because he put the effort in. Right, where are we at? Speaking of blends, have I tried that? Yep, good shout. What is your reach out for the bottle you have at hand? Mine, TB, BSW. Yep, normally that, or I would say for ease of drinking, yeah, I probably normally go with the Thompson Brothers blend, to be fair. I'm just trying to think if anything else is maybe at hand. Normally, if I'm in the house, I'm not down here, it'll be whatever's up there. So normally it's like a bourbon, or it'll be another Thompson Brothers, like a single cask bottle, maybe 1 or 2 pours. I've got at the moment it's been the Middleton 2024. I've been really enjoying that. Anthony's going to be going. Nectar Rossi's new and a decent price. Appreciate that, Anthony. Don't forget to show a like and thumbs up. Look, I'm terrible at the whole YouTube thing. If you like it, thumbs up. Do what you have to do. I've had a decent view count, to be fair. I've got a wee thing in front of me that I can see how many people are watching at any given time. I don't get the numbers that your big YouTubers get. I don't expect to get the numbers. I see all this as a learning process. It's practice. Get better, get better. I appreciate you guys coming on this journey with me. I like to think that what you get with me is honesty and a bit of transparency and whatever, and if there's anything I can ever do to make it better, I will do. But I'm not chasing the views, I'm not chasing the likes and the numbers, because that's a downward spiral. Like, we do whiskey, you know, like it's a very niche topic. I'm doing this on a Saturday night unprompted, and I've got, according to what I can see, I've got 16 people watching this live right now, which is, to me, mind-boggling. If you think about that in your house, that's 4 rows of 4 chairs of people just sitting there as you talk. And that's quite a lot of people. Like, think of your Christmas dinner, or your festive dinners, or your Thanksgiving dinners, or anything like that. It's a lot of people. And yet people can get caught up going, this isn't thousands of people. Like, I'm just happy there's someone listening, and that you give me the time. So I really appreciate it. I'm finishing up at midnight, as I normally do. So if there's any questions, anything left from you guys, please, now's the time. Fire it in the chat. I'm going to have a final pour. Well, no, I'm not. There's far more in that glass. Rob, that's all I can offer. Transparency, that's my thing. If I had another hour, if I was here another hour, I'd probably go on a massive rant about the lack of transparency in the whiskey space at the moment. But I'm not here for drama. I'm not here for it. It's easy to find. It's easy to find. And I think that's why I have an affinity with like Ralphie and Roy and that. And I know Ralphie and Roy, well, Ralphie particularly can be a bit militant about it, right? Roy's very transparent, very clear, and I take my prompt from him almost in the whole thing. But there's other people as well. I'm just like, I can't even deal with it. I read that there's people out there that I see, and I have to bite my tongue, because I'm of the mindset of, if you've not got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It's not my job to go after people. It's not my job to do that. I have to let people find their own path. That's fine. If you've not got anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. And I approach that with whiskey as well. If I'm not talking about whiskey, maybe I've missed it. Maybe I've not got the time to see it or whatever. But I'm not going to go and bash a whiskey because I don't like it, because that's no fair. And I was chatting to somebody, obviously will remain nameless and faceless and brandless and whatever, but works in whiskey, and they couldn't understand why somebody was bashing the brand who worked in whiskey. And I couldn't understand it either, because I'm just like, It's easy to do. It's very easy to do. Now, if a brand came out and did something heinous and it was like, well, yeah, fine. Of course, we'll have an opinion. We'll talk about it. But let's just focus on the positives. There's enough negatives that we spoke about pricing and about this and about that. That happened. I don't have time for that. I can't be bothered. It's more about just, I like the community. I like the experience. I like the learning. I don't know anything, and I don't know enough, and I don't know everything. That's the way to treat it. It's not about treating it as I am expert, therefore I tell you drink this and you should do this and you should be this. And there's a lot of people out there at the moment that are trying to claim that space, and they're happy to shit on brands, and they're happy to shit on people's jobs and livelihoods, and they're happy to shit on all of that. And they're also happy to shit on people at shows and festivals and whatever, and I just can't do it. Cannot do it. It really winds me up. That's the only time I'll get really upset and angry about it, is when that happens. And I've seen it firsthand, and I got invited to my first influencer event and saw it firsthand, and I'm just like, this is mental. It's mental that people think they're something. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I could go off on a massive rant, but as I said, that's not the point of what I try and do. I want to bring people in. I love what Whisky's given me, and that's given me a community. It's given me people to talk to. It's given me a passion that I didn't know was there. I had a colleague of mine say that to me. He was like, I find it fascinating how much you know about this thing after a certain period of time, and I can ask you, I need to buy my father-in-law a bottle of whiskey, or I need to do this and that, and you can go, blah, 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 blah. He goes, that's fascinating. I said, but you could do the exact same. He goes, but I don't care. And I was like, fair point. So for me, I do this because I care. I do this because I love it. I don't make any money out of it. It costs me a fortune, but it keeps me busy. So, guys, I really appreciate all these that tune in and give me the time of day, because it's fine. But if there's at the moment, apparently there's 13 people watching. If there was one, that's more than enough. I'm going to go through the chat now after my big monologue. Appreciate transparency. Nope. I appreciate you guys. Peterhead, same. Nope. Appreciate you. Appreciate humility. We all make mistake. Bar to do 0. I appreciate humility. No self-proclaimed experts for me. We can all relate to mistakes as steps in the journey. Exactly. None of us are experts. And even like I meet like the blenders, and I meet distillers, and I meet these people, and no one pretends to know everything. And the ones that do are the ones that worry about it. Craig, sitting on a bar on the top floor of a house with my long-suffering wife Fiona, hates whiskey, but it's a better nose and taste than me, but keeps me right. If you love whiskey, you need an understanding other half. Absolutely. I hate how much, like, my wife can smell it from a million miles away. And I'm like, how can you smell that? She's like, oh, it's so overpowering. Fiona, well done. Keep Craig honest. Bar 2-0 Glenn. Talking about whiskey or a whiskey can be interesting, but listening to 20 minutes a guy knows and tasting one whiskey is not my jam. Yeah, that's why I don't do reviews. I really could. It'd be easy content. It'd be really easy for me to make. I could just come down here and just do whiskies. But I don't trust my own opinion, if I'm honest. There's people far better than me that can do it and can guide you better. I see my value in being me and what I like to watch, which is going out, trying stuff, chatting away about it, having an opinion. Black Lodge Ramblings is about the opinions stuff, as you guys know. Drams on the Run came about because I love going out, I love the hunt. But the hunt is no longer the hunt, but the hunt is still the hunt of what's going on out there. And chatting to other people, and I've started. I did the first podcast. I've not even spoke about it. I did the first podcast, Drams, and the Drams podcast came about because I wanted to. Everybody's got fucking tales to tell and this and that and that and that, but for me, whiskey's a motive, and and as I mentioned, it's time and place, and it's certain moments in time, and it can smell. You must have walked by someone with an aftershave or a perfume, and it takes you somewhere, or you smell a smell, and you're like, oh my god. And I thought that's what whiskey is, and so I did the first one with Marcos, who, great sport. Thank you so much for accommodating me, Marcos. If you ever see this, and we did it in the Bon Accord the weekend of the Whisky Festival as well. Not ideal, but we made it work, and it was all about that. It was about the emotive, like why do you care? What makes the whiskey for you? What brings you into this world? And we've got a few more lined up. I say me. I've got a few more lined up, and I was trying to get some done before Christmas, but silly season kicks in and life and all that, so we never got them. But the people I'm trying to find are really interesting people, but I'm also going to bring in a different angle, which is non-whiskey people, like non-whiskey people that will talk to me, and I'll help them understand whiskey. So I'm going to it's hard to explain, but I know some interesting people, and I just thought I find you interesting, so I'm going to make a video about you, and I'm going to feed you whiskey. I'm going to find you a whiskey that you're going to enjoy, because I think that's so important, where people get to try things, because they go, I don't like whiskey, and I'm like, what whiskey you had? Jack Daniels. Right, we're going to find you something, and they might not, they might hate it, and that's fine, but that's part of the adventure. So the podcast is something I'm going to try and grow, and the podcast will be videoed as well, so it's still going to be a video, but I'm just trying to find angles of like what do I want to see and hear from, and then I make that. So hopefully you guys enjoy that as well. Malt Monk, Honest Whiskey Chat, Slanger David, great when you post GWF at the Bon Accord. Malt Monk, appreciate it. It was a long evening, so Malt Monk is not very revealing in the name, but hopefully I wasn't a dick. Peathead, I'm calling it a day and going to hit the sack. Best one, thanks for organising, David. I'll see you next time. Peathead, good night. Thank you for tuning in. And guys, I'm going to do the same. I'm at the end of this Ralphie one. Apparently it's full of snow outside. It sounds like rain. Sounds like rain up. Yeah. It's good to be back. I've got some good videos up, well, in my head, that I just need to get onto the camera. I appreciate you guys watching and spending time with me, especially on a Saturday night. The aim is next Saturday I should be back. I'm going to say the YouTube stuff. Please do like, subscribe, all that, comment. It all helps, but I appreciate the guys that are still here with me right now. You guys are always stoic, always here with me. It's really humbling. I appreciate it. So anyway, all the best. 2025, here we go. Cheers.